I feed birds in the morning and squirrels. um, it's kind of a spiritual ritual for me. I do it every morning, even if the weather's bad. You'll see me out there in the snow and ice, uh, in my robe, not even fully dressed yet, and feeding the birds. It's an important. It's a reconnection with nature. It's kind of an offering, that bird seed costs money, and I have to buy it in like 40-pound bags. And I love doing it. It reconnects me to the natural world each morning. I'm out there, touching the earth and uh, feeling the air, smelling it, and watching for the animals. Um, Sometimes I have, a whole lot. I love the sparrows. I'm sure people think that's kind of funny that I take care of sparrows. They're not especially beautiful birds. Well, they are really if you get up close and look at one. Their colors are muted. They're grays and browns. But they're actually very, very pretty little birds. They have a nice little cheepy song, and it's so I like feeding them. I like thinking that every sparrow in the neighborhood comes to my backyard in the morning to get fed. It does reconnect me. Um, it's it's funny how much you can get up in your head and kind of detach from the outside world. That's really not a good thing, at least in my opinion. Some people may want to escape the outside world. A lot of people do, but I'm not one of those. Um, I I love to be in touch with the world. I love the natural order. I love nature itself. I just love animals. You know, I plant plants to bring in bees and butterflies. I put food out on the walk for the birds and the squirrels, and it just thrills me. And sometimes when we have other kind of birds um, that come in that aren't sparrows, like the cardinals and the blue jays that are so beautiful, yeah, that's really exciting. I just love that. We have a mating pair of cardinals, and I've learned what their song is, how to identify them by the singing and chirping that they make. They're very articulate. They have a whole lot of different patterns in the way that they uh, sing, and uh, there's an app called Merlin, and Merlin is just one of the coolest things in the world. What you do is it makes a little recording, and then the recording's made, it analyzes the recording, and it breaks out all the different birds by name, and for each different bird, it it breaks out the songs and the chirps and the songs and the chirps, so you can listen to each one of them in isolation with the bird identified. And so I've been learning a lot using Merlin. If you like birds, and if you have any questions about the birds that you're hearing or seeing, I strongly recommend Merlin. It's terrifically lap, doesn't cost anything, it's free. And so I've been using that, and I've identified like starlings and house sparrows and song sparrows, and of course the cardinals and the robins. Uh, I had wanted to know for years who the really loud, noisy bird was that started singing before the sun came up. It's robins. Merlin solved that for me after all these years. I didn't have any kind of guide. Of course, they taught me about doves because we hunted those, but and ducks because my grandfather had all kind of cool duck calls in his drawer, and I'd get them out and play with them and make their sounds. But aside from that, I didn't learn just to identify just the normal songs of birds, and Merlin helps you do that. So I've been using Merlin, and and then just feeding my birds, thinking about them. Um, I don't know if they really need to be taken care of or not. I think probably in winter, like I fed them all through the winter. They probably do need the food supplement. Like right now, they don't, especially because now we're back into bug season. It's May, and you can watch the sparrows. They do all this aerobatics hunting bugs. You can tell them when they're snagging bugs. They fly these interesting patterns, and so they're not eating the grain quite as vigorously because there's also bugs. And I really like that because a lot of those bugs that they eat are mosquitoes. These days, mosquitoes are carrying a number of very dangerous diseases. And so, my birds, they kind of work for me and I work for them, and we just have a lovely time.